500 people gathered in Pine Top last night to discuss the fate of wolves in Arizona.
And Flagstaff businesses, the reason why you should keep your sidewalk clear this winter.
Good evening and welcome to NAZ Today. I'm community anchor Kara Hammer.
And I'm student anchor Kaylee George. Thanks for joining us. Now, one man is in the hospital at this hour following some serious car accidents. It involved 4 vehicles dealing with hazardous road conditions. The accident happened on Flagstaff's west side, south of Safeway on Plaza Way. A small car slid on the ice, causing the vehicle to spin 180 degrees. That's when a Suburban slammed into the back of a passenger car. Then the driver of the Suburban got out of his vehicle to check on the damage. Within minutes, a third vehicle crashed on the back of the Suburban, pinning the man between 2 cars.
To make matters worse, like a domino effect, a 4th car piled up behind the other vehicles. The injured man was transported to Flagstaff Medical Center. We do not know his condition at this time.
Now, in other news, state officials recommended Wednesday that the State Forestry Division pay nearly a $500,000 fine in the deaths of 19 firefighters in the Yarnell Hill fire. The Arizona Division of Occupational Safety and Health says that officials put protection of the structures and pastures ahead of the firefighter safety.
The proposed citation says forestry officials did not remove crews when firefighting efforts failed and put hundreds of firefighters at risk of injury and death. The agency presented the proposals to the State Industrial Commission in Phoenix. The commission has the final say on whether to impose the fines. Well, Flagstaff businesses are always encouraged to keep their sidewalks clean during winter. However, this year they might want to make sure they follow the guidelines. NAZ Today's Gus Margiotta tells us the repercussions businesses could face.
Downtown business owners are being asked to clean their sidewalks in front of their establishments. Tom Bogner, Code Compliance Director for the city, says the sidewalks need to be cleaned in a timely manner.
Code Compliance section will be insisting on the sidewalks being cleared. That'll be within 24 hours after the end of accumulation. Is the responsibility of that business, of that tenant.
Owners that fail to remove snow after receiving notices will face numerous fines from the city, which also includes a $50 administrative fee. Local business owners will be asked to clear the sidewalks in front of their businesses this winter, but Mayor Jerry Neighbors believes differently.
Here's the issue. The city owns the sidewalks, but the city has an ordinance that says you, as the adjacent property owner, you have to maintain and clean the snow off of the public sidewalk. I have an issue with that. Just because you live next to a public property, that's the reason why you should have to maintain it? That doesn't make sense to me.
Devin Hubbard, sales associate at Mountain Sports, doesn't mind the winter weather or the excess shoveling.
I always enjoy taking a nice break and getting to play in the snow a little bit.
In previous years, the notices would continually be issued for each violation. This year, only one notice will be given to business owners. If you would like to read the updated ordinance, visit our website at naztoday.com. For NAZ Today, I'm Gus Margiotta.
Now, the Mexican gray wolf once roamed throughout most of Arizona. However, persecution and poisoning of these animals began shortly after Europeans settled in the area, driving wolves closer to extinction.
In 1998, a small group of wolves were reintroduced into parts of eastern Arizona, but not without controversy. Xavier Rangel talks about the results of a public meeting held Tuesday.
A public hearing in Pine Top yesterday attracted 500 people, each with their own opinion on this issue. Today, we talked to Kim Crumbo of the Grand Canyon Wildlife Council, Jim DeVos, representing the Arizona Game and Fish, and Tom Mackin of Arizona Sportsman Wildlife Conservation.
So I want to start off with Kim Crumbo. You just were at a meeting that was in support of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service's proposal to expand the Mexican gray wolf's recovery area. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, there was a meeting in Pine Top, Arizona. It's a rural community just adjacent to Sholo, and the purpose of the hearings was to explain the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, it's a federal agency's proposals to do 2 things. One is to delist the gray wolf pretty much nationwide, and the other one is to provide for a relisting of the Mexican wolf, which is as a endangered subspecies of gray wolf. It would be listed as endangered with certain caveats that we are not real happy with, and that one of those would be expanding the area to list it as a non-essential experimental population. We don't want to see that. We want to see it listed as an endangered species, and at the very least, an essential population, not non-essential.
Okay, and I know that Tom Mackin is here, and you're against this, or how do you feel about this?
Sportsmen, and I'll just use that term very, very broadly, are generally in support. We understand the role that apex predators play in overall wildlife activities, and we are in support, but unfortunately, since 1998, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service has run into continuing problems with the current management plan for Mexican wolves here in Arizona. And we want to be sure that the new plan and the expanded territories are consistent with the goals that everybody can live with.
Okay, and then we have Jim DeVos. How does Arizona Game and Fish weigh in on this debate?
Well, we weigh in it from two primary standpoints. One is we have statutory authority to manage wildlife in Arizona, and under a provision of the Endangered Species Act, we have a Section 6 agreement with the Fish and Wildlife Service, which also covers our role in managing endangered species as well. So we have that statutory responsibility. We're also cooperators with the Fish and Wildlife Service as we develop new rules, modified rules, to enhance recovery of not only the Mexican gray wolf, the Mexican wolf, but also several other endangered species as well. The role of the 10J that Kim spoke about, we think, is a crucial issue, and certainly one of the prime focuses of, I won't say disagreement, but different viewpoints. From the state's perspective, and from many of the people that live on the land, the fact that we're allowed to introduce endangered species under the 10J rule starts to develop some social tolerance. Imagine if you're a landowner and the Fish and Wildlife Service wants to put in a fully endangered species, and your concern obviously is going to be, well, what can I do with my land? How's it going to affect my ability? Under the 10J, they're protected, they're managed. It gives the flexibility, though, to implement some management options that could include removal because of excessive depredations, and that excessive is certainly in the eye of the beholder. But our view is wolves belong in the landscape. We want them where they ranged historically. It comes down to some of the issues in the proposal is where and how many, and that's yet to be defined. So it's really difficult for the state to say, yep, we like this, because we're not sure what the target really is.
I want to apologize. We are out of time. I just want to inform everyone that the comment period on this issue ends December 17th, and you can go to our website, naztoday.com, for more information. Thank you all for being here.
Take the family and spread holiday cheer by supporting local businesses at this fun event.
Also, capturing the sun's energy might create an efficient alternate fuel.
All right, welcome to the show, everybody. I'm meteorologist Lee Bourne. A little bit of snow up on Hopi today, and of course, snow right here in Flagstaff. The cold front's already moved off into eastern Arizona now, and an Arctic air mass moving into place. Very cold temperatures to talk about, and another storm system for the weekend. That's all coming up in weather.
Snoring can be more than a mild annoyance. It could be a sign of a much deeper problem with your sleep pattern. If you suffer from sleep disturbances, trust the Mountain Heart Sleep Center in Flagstaff for effective treatment. With a full-time staff led by Dr. Stephen Marks, your corrective care is immediate with no need for a referral. And they're the #1 accredited sleep center in northern Arizona, Mountain Heart Sleep Center, for a good night's rest.
Regular maintenance and inspection are important to the overall health in your car. Check coolant levels to see if you're low on coolant and recognize that overheating may be caused by a low coolant level. Regular maintenance calls are necessary to ensure your vehicle is performing efficiently.
This week's car tip was brought to you by Terry Markson Chevrolet Cadillac, located on Highway 66.
Welcome back. Now that the holiday shopping is in full swing, it's time to start collecting the items that you've put on your list. But if you're hitting local stores, you may be able to collect more than just the gifts that you wrote down.
Lisa Lamberson, she and her husband own Mountain Sports here right downtown, and Jane Clark, who is the manager at Splendid Things. Heard about this. It's out of England, out of London is where this started. And it's a way to get people to come see your stores. You don't have to buy anything to be part of this Christmas crawl. You just have to go into each of the 14 stores, ask for the stickers, which are these, and then you put them on your Christmas tree like this. And once it's full, you turn it into one of the stores, and then the drawing will be on December 26th.
And it's to take small, well, not even that small, but locally owned businesses and encourage customers to come through and visit those stores, and not just one store, but to go from store to store and experience the shops that maybe they've forgotten about or have never seen.
We're glad to be involved. We think it'll help support all these other local businesses, and maybe a lot of our shoppers will then in turn tell other shoppers about our store and the others.
The goal is to, for instance, like Sagebrush Trading is another one on the map here, or the Artist Gallery. They have a customer base that's familiar with them and familiar with their product, and potentially they've never been into mountain sports, and so it's sharing our communal customers and introducing the Flagstaff community potentially to some new retailers.
When you fill your tree with all 14 stickers, you can be entered to win a shopping spree. For a complete list of participating businesses, visit naztoday.com.
Well, here in Flagstaff, flakes have started to fall, so soaking up the sun may or may not be on your mind, but it's certainly on the mind of Dr. David Vasquez. He joins here at Ferguson in studio to talk about how solar energy could be used to make a viable alternative to fossil fuels.
We live in a world that's fiercely dependent on fossil fuels, so you might be wondering what the outlook on some types of alternative energy might be. Now, I'm pleased to welcome Dr. David Vasquez to our studio today, and he's going to present a talk tomorrow afternoon on NAU campus that's going to give us an idea on the outlook of alternative energy. So welcome, Dr. Vasquez.
Thank you.
We're happy to have you. Now, first of all, you're going to present on campus tomorrow about the economic implications of solar fuel cell technology, among other things. Now, that definitely sounds like a mouthful. Yeah. So I'm wondering if you could give us sort of the highlights of your presentation and talk about what you're going to talk about.
Okay. Well, the first thing is I'm combining solar and hydrogen together. So I'm going to talk about solar energy. And hydrogen used to be kind of a buzz thing like 10 years ago. People were talking about the hydrogen economy. And then it's kind of quieted down and fallen off. And so I got really interested as, why has that happened? And what's the state of affairs now with hydrogen? And because it turns out that solar and hydrogen are a really good mix. And, I mean, if you go back to the basics and just look at climate crisis and climate change, and you just say, fossil fuel addiction is the problem. Okay, so if we can all agree that it's a problem, we have to get off the fossil fuels. Period. Okay, so then you look at the alternatives. There's nuclear and there's renewables and not a whole lot else.
Exactly.
And so if you look at nuclear, you discount that because of Murphy's Law says that sooner or later we're going to have a really bad accident.
Absolutely. People are terrified of nuclear energy a lot of the time. So.
Yeah, I just saw a map of the fallout from Fukushima drifting across the Pacific, and I live in San Francisco.
And that's definitely frightening. So what do you think the outlook of getting off of fossil fuels is for our future?
Well, I'm happy to say I think it's really, really good. I think that even though you don't see it, you're seeing it more and more, but there's really good news. The price of fossil fuel is going up, the price of nuclear is going up, the price of solar is going down, and it's going to keep going down. And so it's just like you look ahead not too far, and it's just like this is inevitably going to happen. So the next question becomes, great, you know, what are the issues with solar? And the big issue with solar is it's not 24/7. It's intermittent. So we absolutely need a good storage technology. So once you conclude that, it says, okay, what is the storage technology going to be? It's not going to be batteries alone. Batteries have their strengths and weaknesses, and if you look at hydrogen combined with batteries, it's a complete solution to replacing fossil fuel.
Well, wonderful. And I'm hoping that a lot of people will be able to get out to your talk tomorrow evening and learn a lot more. And if you're interested in that, definitely check out our website at naztoday.com. We'll have all of the time and information there for you. Thank you again for joining us in the studio. And for NAZ Today, I'm Sierra Ferguson.
Coconino girls basketball opened their season last night with a win. Sports anchor Alex Lucero tells us more.
Plus, the snow blanketed Flagstaff today while flakes continue to fall. Meteorologist Lee Bourne has your forecast.
20 years and with more than 65,000 success stories, Coconino Community College's commitment to the educational pipeline is vital to your future.
My name is Sheila Hollowhorn. I study mechanical engineering and train as a U.S. Air Force pilot and officer in the CCC to NAU program, which helps students like me transition from the community college to NAU. Upon completion, I'll be giving back by defending our country, and that's why I support CCC.
With your support, Coconino Community College will remain efficient, effective, and excellent.
People think I'm trash, but they're wrong. Today I'm just an aluminum can, but one day I could be a stadium.
Tonight's NAZ Today weather is brought to you in part by Terry Markson Chevrolet Cadillac in Flagstaff.
All right, a fast-moving, potent winter storm moving through today, and it's already moved off, and we're in some very cold air. We have our student reporter, Virginia Beamer, braving the elements out there. We're going to send it out to you, Virginia. It's looking cold out there. How are you holding up?
I am absolutely freezing right now, Lee. If you take a look at the thermometer, it's right around 20 degrees outside, and here at Old Main on the NAU campus, there is no one in sight. And for good reason. We got about 3 inches of snow today, and along with that, we saw about absolutely everything. We saw gusts up to 50 miles per hour. We saw rain, sleet. We even saw the sun in the afternoon. Needless to say, I wish I was inside with you guys right now. Back to you, Lee.
Well, yeah, it is nice and cozy in here in the studio, and I hope she gets in there in bundles and gets warm soon. Okay, so today, storm system moved through much of the morning hours, and our high temperature, interestingly, 37 degrees, that occurred at midnight. And now the temperatures are falling, and the lowest temperature, which it is right now, 23 degrees, is our low so far, and it's going to be lower for the official low. And 31/100 of an inch is the precipitation after the snow melted in the bucket. And as Virginia mentioned, snow totals around Flagstaff and really for many elevations above 6,000 feet. 1 to 3 inches is in general how much everybody got. Jacob Lake checked in with 6 inches, and same up at the Arizona Snow Bowl. Here's a look at the storm system right now moving through eastern Arizona, and that's the cold front well to our south, and now it's just cold air behind it. And they'll continue with some snow in the White Mountains throughout the evening hours before this thing starts to scoot out of here. And this thing brought in a lot of cold air. I want to take a look at it out in the Pacific, because you can really notice the jet stream and where all this air is coming. Notice the flow of the air right out of the Arctic Circle down and into the base of the trough here that's swinging through the western United States. And this whole area is very, very cold right now, and eventually this is going to overtake the entire country. If we take a look at what's happening across the nation right now, this cold front extends all the way up through the Rockies of Colorado. Up in the mountains saw about 2 feet of snow today. Still snowing now, moving off into the plains and the upper Great Lakes. This thing's going to have have big impacts across the entire nation. Look at the warnings from the National Weather Service all across the country. These are all freeze warnings for lower elevations of California all the way into the Arizona desert. We get into these purples and into the pinks, and this is all winter storm warnings and ice storm warnings all the way through the deep south and then right up into the Ohio River Valley and then up into the northern plains. This lighter blue, those are wind chill warnings for wind chills, -35 and even colder. Winter storm warnings up into northern Great Lakes as well. So this storm that we just had is really going to have a big impact on the entire country, and eventually all this Arctic air is going to pour in for the entire country, and they're going to see deep freezes all the way into the south. The old meteorological saying, there's nothing between Canada and Texas but a barbed wire fence, meaning all this cold air can just drain all the way down to the Gulf Coast, and this is going to be a big cold one. One of the biggest Arctic blasts the nation's seen in several years, and we have another storm system moving in for us that I'll get to in a second. Look at the current temperatures right now in this cold air mass, 3 degrees in Billings. It's 19 in Salt Lake City, and you can see out in front of it still mild all the way through the Midwest and to the eastern seaboard. But as we just talked about, this will eventually overtake the entire nation. Currently here, temperatures right now, 23 in Flagstaff, a little bit of typo, 20 at the Grand Canyon, 32 in Prescott, and 57 in Phoenix. It's going to be a very cold night tonight, and we have a lot of cold temperatures in the forecast. We're not even going to see highs above freezing until at least next Tuesday. And single-digit temperatures each and every night. Consider bringing in your pets. 8 degrees is what our forecast is. Partly cloudy skies overnight tonight, a cold day tomorrow, and mostly sunny out there. 28 degrees for a high here in Flagstaff. Sunrise at 7:20. Okay, statewide temperatures, everybody's going to see a freeze overnight tonight for the most part. 27 in Sedona, 42 for a high tomorrow, 20, 38 in Prescott. Okay, we have another storm system to talk about, and that's due Saturday evening. This storm system looks like it could bring 4 to 8 inches. We're very cold, mostly sunny Thursday and Friday. Storm system moves in. I think snow starts to fly right around sunset and goes into the middle of the night, but it's over by Sunday, leaving us still in more frigid air. And for you down in Sedona, it's going to be a snowstorm on Saturday as well. The way the storm's shaping up right now, snow levels will be all the way down to the valley floors. And I think everybody across northern and central Arizona could see 4 to 8 inches of new snow with the Saturday storm.
So pretty cold out there. Good time to be inside on the hardwood inside of a basketball gym.
Yeah, exactly. But however, there are a couple of games not being played tonight. I'll tell you about it coming up.
I was an ordinary guy, but I switched to Suddenlink's new internet, and now I can't stop being awesome, because it's the fastest in town. Downloads, uploads, any kind of load, everything just flows at speeds 13 times faster than phone company DSL. Even when the whole family is online, there's no buffering. With DSL, we were suffering. Yep, anything the phone company can do, I can do faster. Now that I have the next big thing from Suddenlink, now that I have a house full of easy.
Well, last night there were tons and tons of high school sports going on, and we're going to start off with the Coconino girls basketball team, who had their home opener last night against Centennial. Coco is ready right from the tip as Marissa Copley is going to get the ball. She's
when they come into our gym, we
just there we go. There's the right video, and Marissa Copley taking it by herself leads to easy lay-in for the easy 2 points for Marissa. Later on, great ball movement leads to the easy lay-in by Elena Ahumakini, part of a 21-0 run by the Coconino Panthers. Centennial would not go away, going on a 12-0 run themselves, led by Rebecca Brewer and Taylor Lifgren, who had 19 points on the night. However, it wasn't good enough as Marissa Copley had 20 points and the team had 16 assists, as Coconino wins this game 56-42. Coach Greta Hanneman talks about the Panthers' game plans, and Marissa talks about next game's improvements.
When they come into our gym, we just want to go. You know, get teams back on their heels a little bit. And, I mean, our girls have more fun playing at that tempo. They're fun to watch. And you know, I think they get energy off of each other playing that type of game. It's definitely a good style for this group of girls.
For our next game, we like to work on keeping our intensity high, coming out strong. You know, when we have a lead, don't get too lax on defense, play hard from the beginning to the end.
While the Lady Panthers were taking care of business, the Flagstaff boys basketball team had their own game, playing on the road at Peoria. The Eagles took a dominating 62-48 win over the Panthers. Senior guard Trevor Johnson had a team-high 26 points, and Caleb Sandoval had 12 points. The team as a whole committed only 7 turnovers all game. The Eagles are back on the road once again when they play Poston Butte tomorrow night. Now, there was supposed to be games tonight for both the Flagstaff and Northland Prep girls teams, but those games are no longer happening. Due to the weather, these games have been postponed. Flagstaff was supposed to play Mingus, and the Lady Spartans were going to play Arizona College Prep. These games are planning to be made up, but a date and time have yet to be determined. So if you plan on going to those games tonight, bundle up in your house, get cozy, and have a nice relaxing night to yourself. And moving over to high school soccer, the Flagstaff boys soccer team played their season opener against the Prescott Badgers. It wasn't a great showing from the Eagles as they were blanked 2-0 against Prescott. Both Badger goals were scored in the final 2 minutes of the first half. Flagstaff drops their first game of the season and play again at home next Tuesday against the Page Sand Devils. Well, the Phoenix Suns' surprising season continues, and last night they were on the road against the Memphis Grizzlies. Final minute of the first quarter, Memphis working the fast break to perfection. Ball doesn't touch the ground once, and it leads to a John Luer slam dunk. Third quarter, the Suns are going to be up by 2 points. Mike Conley gets the Suns up in the air with this pump fake and dishes the ball to Tony Allen for the wide open 3-point bucket. The Grizzlies lead by 1 point now. Here at the end of the third, Conley weaving past the Phoenix defense. He misses the layup. However, big boy Ed Davis is there for the putback slam. And the Suns almost made this incredible three-quarter shot, but just like that shot, the Suns were off all game. The Grizzlies would win handily 110-91, and the Suns are on a 2-game losing streak. Phoenix is currently playing the Houston Rockets in Houston, and currently the score of that game, it's tied 10-10 early on in the first quarter.
A lot of basketball going on.
Yeah, definitely. I can't wait to see the men's basketball team against Hawaii.
I wonder how Hawaii will do coming into this cold weather.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right.
We'll be right back.
All right, Arctic kind of forecast for us here. High temperatures, really cold here in Flagstaff. Snowstorm on Saturday, and pretty chilly for you down in Sedona as well, with high temperatures only in the low 40s, even only in the upper 30s, and overnight lows freezing every single night. Snow on Saturday.
Well, this is a look of downtown Flagstaff this morning, and you can see the snow covering the streets. We put a GoPro on one of our reporters, and he put it on his car and went out. Tyler Whitman, that's him driving through the streets of downtown Flagstaff. Pretty snowy and pretty icy out there.
Yeah, fast forwarding got me all nervous, like he's driving a little crazy out there. But
well, we just want everybody
it's pretty
to
cool, though.
stay
GoPros.
safe and put your
all kinds
dogs
of uses
inside.
for those neat cameras.
Well, thanks for joining us tonight. We'll go ahead and see you again tomorrow.